Big Grow in Detroit. We're here at KGD's farm, and I'm here to give you 5 quick tips about how to work with kids in the garden. So these tips will mostly apply to like small children, but these can work with older kids too. I'll throw in a couple of those as well. So let's get started. My first tip is always let them use their hands. So there are a couple of different jobs you can do in the soil and in the garden where they can use their hands. So just looking at my hands, let's say that you need to smooth your soil out, or let's say you're moving soil or compost. One thing they can do is crumble up big clumps with their fingers. For little kids, that's going to help with fine motor skills. And for bigger kids, it's just like a sensory relaxing experience. But any big clumps in the soil, they can go ahead and break those up. And then when you need a smooth surface, encourage them not to use a tool, but to just go ahead and use their hands to smooth out the bed as much as possible, which will lead me to my next tip, which is if they find any kinds of insects, worms, there are spiders, there are ants, there is all type of interesting and fun things in the soil. Encourage them to touch those things. For your little kids that are still learning descriptive words, then asking them like how the worm feels on their hand. Is it slimy? Is it wet? A roly-poly bug might feel prickly to their skin. So just like encouraging them to interact with any kind of bugs that they find is gonna help them connect more with the natural world, and also understand that like dirt is not gross, soil is not gross, it's natural and it's a part of life. So but when they're touching any bugs, just encourage them that they live in the soil, that's their home, and so let's put them back in their home. We wouldn't want someone to pick us up out of our home and then just like throw us far away. We don't want to do that with the worms. And then also encouraging them not to necessarily like squish them or kill them either, but to like touch them, interact with them, and then put them back. Which leads me to my third tip about being gentle. So a lot of times people think that kids, especially small kids, are not able to plant, like are not able to put transplants in because that might be something that's too delicate. Excuse me, they're not going to handle it correctly. But I'm here to tell you that's not the case at all. So when we're thinking about planting, particularly transplants, we want to call them baby plants because especially like 0 to 5-year-olds are going to understand the term baby to be something small and delicate as opposed to a transplant. So if we're getting ready to let them put the plant into the ground, we want to actually, as the adult, we want to go ahead and squeeze the plant out of the pack for them. So we'll do this part, and then we're going to show them that just like a baby, we wouldn't hold a baby by its neck. That's not how we hold the plant. We want to hold it by the body of it, and if the roots are tightly wound together, we can just like squish it, give it like a little tender massage to loosen the plants, to loosen the roots. And then they can use their hands to dig a hole that's just as long as the plant is, and then they want to go ahead and you can have them drop it in. And for this part, you can actually hold the plant for them and then have them go ahead and fill in the dirt. And then you can press it down. You can show them that you're making a triangle around the plant and just press it down to secure it. So little kids, one thing that they have a tendency to do is they want to go like this. They really want to pack it in. So just letting them know to do it very gently and very calmly is the best way. And I think that leads us to, are we on number 4? I think we're on 4. Yes. So using what you have. So we have some seeds here, and using what you have to really create any kind of learning experience. So this is 8 opportunities to count. So we can count by counting how many plants we have once they're all in. We can count how many plants we have in the 4-pack. If you have kids that are a little bit older and you have 2 4-packs, then that's an opportunity to get them to do a little bit of multiplication. But counting seeds is a good way for little kids who are just learning their numbers. So, as soon as I get the seed bag, okay? So, little kids, especially toddlers, preschoolers, will be needing to practice their pinching skills. So by you pouring the seeds in your hand, then you can let them pinch the seed and drop it. You can also encourage them to take the back of a trowel or just any stick that they have, and if they're gonna plant seeds, they can make a trench. And then you can check that the trench is the proper depth based on what the instructions are on the back of your seeds. But one thing you want to do is you want to hold the seeds in your hand. You don't want your little gardener to hold the seeds in their hand, especially if they're like 2, 3, 4, because their instinct is going to be to throw all the seeds. Once you put them in their hand, something about them holding it makes them just want to throw it. So you want to hold it in your hand, and then you want to let them pinch the seed from your hand, and then they can drop the seed, and then they can count, you know, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5. You can make them show you 5 on their hand. So now they're, you know, matching how many fingers they have to how many seeds they planted. And then once they've planted their seeds and whatever kind of, you know, trench you're making, you can have them go ahead and close it up with their little fingers. They can mark with a popsicle stick or whatever kind of marker you have where their trench is, and then you want to let them complete the process by watering. So you can do this a couple different ways. If you have, we like to use a little watering can that's especially kid size. But if you don't have that, you can use a water bottle and poke holes in it, fill it up, and then you can let them use that as their own personal water bottle. One thing I like to do with kids is I like to sing a song after we plant it. So I'll sing, grow, baby, grow. Grow, baby, grow. And then the kids will get really into it. They like to sing it too. And it's just like showing love to our plants and encouraging our plants to grow. And then our last tip is, you know, make them feel like they're little gardeners too. So these little things came from Target. I'm sure you can order them online. They have little things like this at the dollar store. So just investing in little garden tools for them, a little watering can, will help them feel like I'm a gardener too. My mom has a trowel, I have a trowel, my dad has a shovel, I have a little shovel, and that'll help them feel like they're a part of the process as well. Giving them a job, so if they planted a little section of basil, then filling up their watering can or their watering bottle, and then making sure that that's the part that they're responsible for, will make them remember that plants are living things that we have to take care of every day. And I have a few books that even if you haven't gotten in the garden yet, or if your kids are too little to do some of these things, just reading to them about the garden. We've got Eating a Rainbow, and we've got Planting a Rainbow and Eating the Alphabet by Lois Ellert. And these are really cute books that, you know, take us through the alphabet and different things that we can plant. You can use these books to point out what they've eaten, what they might be planting, what they can remember from the garden before as well. And that's it. Bye.